Streaming on X? I am streaming on X. Jesus. I am streaming on X. Jesus. I am streaming on X. This is amazing, dude. Am I streaming on YouTube as well? I'm live on YouTube too, bro. Wow, this is so cool. Will my OBS vertical settings be functional during this? Wow, this was a really fascinating experience. Restream.io. I'm streaming both on X and YouTube at the same time right now. I can be streaming on Instagram as well. Can I be streaming on Instagram? Let me check that out. But if that is so, then this is so cool. I can be streaming on all the platforms, Instagram as well. All these platforms I can be streaming at the same time. LinkedIn. Well, I don't know how streaming works on LinkedIn. I'm sure TikTok is not available, but at the same time, this is so cool. I should be doing this. And we should definitely be clipping our best moments. Clip this. Clip this. So I've chosen the two platforms as YouTube and X. Um, but at this point in time, uh, how do I see the chats if anybody is chatting with me on these platforms? Because I'll be busy doing my stuff. I'll be busy watching videos and stuff, right? So how would I solve or how would I see other people chatting with me so that I can respond to their chats immediately? Clip this because I'm solving real problems in real time. Like this is what having projects is. This is solving problems in real time. Dashboard, dashboard, chat here. Okay. Hmm. One glance into all the chats. This is pretty awesome. This is immense, bruh. This is really cool. That the fact that I can be able to do this is really cool. Mm, so, what do I freaking do? I have this online in one stretch over here, and let me also have this here, right? Hello,
Hello.
what are you doing?
I was getting that
relate to what's
we are
happening
to
in the
have
world
those
right now.
You were getting? Now you're at office. Yeah. When? Wha- Which group says that once again? I don't know. That's not there on WhatsApp for me. Who? Okay. So add me and I'll go. Hmm. Tuesday, right? Sorry, Saturday. Friday. Where say? Where will they play? Fair play. Oh, Sports Dome. I don't know that. Okay, actually, I'm injured this week also, so let's do it next week. Till I called you to play Dota. In a sense, just to couple of games I thought I'll play. I'm still injured. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Bye bye. Hey, I'm not playing now. I was playing that time, but I'm not playing now. Okay, okay. Bye.
We are going through a crisis, very intense right now, but it's a crisis that we have been through before. 20 years ago with the Iraq War, even before that, we saw the bombing of Gaddafi, we saw the reactions there. Now, I have been studying military strategy, air power, international terrorism, now terrorism inside the United States, and also political violence in the United States. It's not related to particular groups. So I've been studying political violence for 40 years.
What is the headline that people need to be aware of when you've looked at 30 years of these types of wars?
That bombs don't just hit targets, they change politics.
What does that mean?
That means that before the bombs fall, and even as the bombs are falling now, we tend to focus on the tactical success of bombing. We tend to ask, did the bombs hit the targets? And it's with the smart bomb age, it's almost mesmerizing. They hit the target and destroy the target, crater dirt, crater concrete, destroy buildings 90% of the time. The problem is, wars are not just about the hardware. They're not just about the military operation of putting a bomb on a target. They're about politics. And when the bombs start to fall, the politics in both the target, the enemy, change, and the politics in the attacker, the initiator, change. And that threshold is the beginning of what I'm calling the escalation trap, because you get at stage one, tactical success often. What's missing here is the next consideration, which is politics.
Who have you advised, and at what level have you advised them on strategy, war, etc., etc.?
So in the when I finished my PhD, right away we started to fight the first Gulf War, which was an all-air power war. And I found my work from the 1980s suddenly more relevant than ever. I was in the Washington Post, USA Today, frontline designing the stories because we didn't have the talking military heads at the time. And then I get a call from the US Air Force. And they're asking me to come in and help not just teach, but to build the curriculum. Then what happens as time goes on, I end up advising every White House from 2001 to 2024, including the first Trump White House.
I also heard that you've been running simulations on a war with Iran.
Yep, the last class of every strategy for 20 years. In fact, we did it just last May, just before we started the bombing, and 90 minutes. So the class goes a whole quarter, strategy in all kinds of different ways, and we ended with the bombing of Iran. And what did that mean? That meant we took out the whole target. We have the target set laid out. We have the attack plans. We really go through the bombing of Natanz, Fordow, Esafan. There's a number of these facilities and so forth. And then we look at what's going to happen. And what you see right away is 90+%. Those B-2s are going to destroy those targets. Okay.
B-2s being the aircraft.
These stealthy aircraft that can penetrate the airspace, very few small risk of loss. And then you see, but we don't know where the nuclear material is. The whole point of this is not to destroy a building, it's to get at the 5%, 20%, 60% enriched uranium that's the material for bombs. And last May, it was very clear they had the material for 16 bombs. Now, not
60 nuclear bombs.
1-6.
Nuclear bombs.
Yes, nuclear bombs, not to produce them all in a single week, but over a period of months.
Still shows the wrong, title on X for me. Like, I've changed the name here, but on X it's still stream via RTMP and all that stuff. So how do I change that?
Percent of the time.
Like it's not happening. X doesn't seem to change titles for X. Broadcast, edit the title there directly. Go to Twitter. Let's do that instead. My live stream is here. Edit, post. Edit, post, and I put here chilling with Claude, chilling and building with Claude. Claude, chilling and building with Claude. How do I change the title of this? God damn, you're wrong. Can't go to page. For X Live, you can only set it before going live through X app on mobile. Once live, you can't change it. For next time, before start streaming on OBS, go to the stream, click the stream title at the top, chilling and building and Claude, edit there first, then go live. My God, this is a clear example of how you should have told me earlier, son. You just wasted 15 minutes of my time. Clip that, right? This is a clear example of how you just wasted my time because I thought you knew the answer because you're giving me the impression that you know the answer, but you didn't really know the answer. Clip this.
And then after we did that simulation, we didn't know where a single ounce was. And we weren't going to know for months after. So at the end of I make some predictions. I say, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is after about a year, we are going to panic because that material could be dispersed anywhere in Iran, anywhere in that country. And that country, look how big that is compared to the United States, could be dispersed anywhere now. And how many of those are actually developing toward a bomb? We will not know. So what will we do? Regime change.
From all of your years in, I mean, 31 years old, you start teaching about air power and war in this regard, and you are 65 now.
Yeah.
What is the, from everything you know, 30 plus years studying this stuff, Iran, running simulations on Iran, advising the White House, being a master and probably, arguably, the most informed person in the United States right now about air attacks like the one the US performing on Iran. What is the headline that you're trying to send to the world at this moment in time? Like, what is it we're missing? Because we're seeing
How to
Trump come out.
think like a programmer, dude. I think this is a valuable thing. Am I still streaming on OBS? Is it recording? Good. How to think like a programmer. How to vibe code well.
If you're vibe coding, you need to stop. No offense, vibe coding is awesome. We love it. But you need to know when it's okay and when it's not. So we came across this amazing post by Simon Wilson, the creator of Dataset. And here's what he said. Vibe coding is when you talk to the AI, accept whatever code it spits out, don't read it, and just hope that it works. It's perfect for low-stake projects, weekend experiments, personal tools, quick MVPs, stuff where if it breaks, no one's life or money is at risk. But if you're building anything serious, you've got to stop vibe coding and start being an engineer. So here are 3 times that you shouldn't vibe code. First, you're handling money like billing APIs, payments, etc. And especially if you're handling private data like user info, secrets, or passwords. Lastly, if your tool will be used by other people, users, clients, customers. Make sure you tag your vibe coder friends and follow Builder Central for more real-world tech playbooks. If you're vibe coding, you need to stop. No offense, vibe coding is awesome. We love it. But you need to know when it's okay.
Hmm. Should I just learn programming then? I'm not a coder and I've never coded one line in my entire life, right? But I have noticed many a times that, just because of that, I will go on around in circles when I'm trying to Claude code, in circles for hours, for half hours, hours. And then we go from point A to point B, which should ideally take 10 minutes. It takes me 10 hours sometimes because I'm vibe coding. Is there any way that is there any way that we can stop this? Is there any way that I can become a better vibe coder, right? Is there any courses, any learning, any videos, anything that I need to become a better vibe coder? Hmm.
What does vibe coding mean to you?
Vibe coding is not the same as AI assisted engineering, and I feel like that distinction is kind of critical because we don't want to devalue the discipline of engineering.
How do you personally use these tools?
I have more recently been focusing on the idea of spec driven development, having a very clear plan of what it is that I want to build. If you are open to tasks, it can be a great way of de risking your use of LLMs in coding.
One thing that I'm kind of noticing on myself already is losing a little bit of criticality.
It's going to continue to be very important for us to be able to think through how things work, be able to problem solve without necessarily relying on the AI. Testing and retesting your critical thinking skills are going to be important.
You're working inside a larger team, got the Chrome team, other teams as well. What are things that you're observing?
At a company like Google, with AI, what we've realized is
How do professional software engineers at the likes of Google go beyond vibe coding to speed up their day-to-day work with AI? Adi Osmani has worked on the Chrome team for 13 years, and if you ever opened up the developer tab on Chrome, you've definitely used the stuff he built. He is also a prolific author. His latest book is titled Beyond Vibe Coding and is aimed at professional software engineers. Today, we go into vibe coding versus AI assisted engineering and why vibe coding isn't useful for much more than just prototyping something quick and dirty. The importance of understanding what the model does, why Addy always reads through the thinking log of the model he uses to make sure he fully understands what it did and why before approving changes. New development workflows with AI, how things like spec-driven development, asynchronous coding background agents, and parallel coding with several agents are new and unexplored areas of software engineering, and many more. If you're a software engineer who wants to work better with AI coding tools on the day-to-day and wants to build reliable software with AI tools, then this episode is for you. This podcast episode is presented by Statsig, the unified platform for flags, analytics, experiments, and more. Check out the show notes to learn more about them and our other season sponsor. So, Addy, welcome to the podcast.
thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're an author of a lot of different books, Leading Effective Engineering Teams. This came out about a year ago. And now your latest book is called Beyond Vibe Coding. And on your Substack, you also write a lot about your learnings about vibe coding slash AI assisted development. In this book and also on your blog, you talk about vibe coding versus AI assisted software engineering. In your mind, what does vibe coding mean to you specifically, and how is it different or similar to AI assisted software engineering?
Yeah. So I've been tend to tell folks that I personally think that vibe coding is not the same as AI assisted engineering, and I feel like that distinction is kind of critical because we don't want to devalue the discipline of engineering and give folks that are new to the industry an incomplete picture of what it takes to build robust production ready software. But I kind of have, I guess, two definitions for them. I think the vibe coding is really about fully giving into the creative flow within AI, so very much focused on high level prompting, and in many ways forgetting that the code exists. So you would, this goes back to Andrej Karpathy's like original definition, but it's about accepting AI suggestions without necessarily having a deep review and focusing on rapid iterative experimentation. Personally, like, I find it really great for prototypes, MVPs, and learning. And I think it's, what I've seen in production teams is that
So you're saying vibe coding is great for MVPs and learning.
this has been very useful for them when it comes to trying out ideas rapidly and building out an intuition for what, the shape of an idea might look like, what a component might look like, what an MVP might look like. And that tends to prioritize speed and exploration over things like correctness and maintainability, things that we perhaps care a little bit about when it comes to building things for large production audiences. And I would say that there's a little bit of a spectrum between vibe coding and doing what falls a little bit closer into traditional software engineering, doing more planning, more specification driven development, including sufficient context, and really what is AI assisted engineering across the full software development lifecycle. So to me, AI assisted engineering is where AI is this powerful collaborator, but it's not a replacement for engineering principles. And so in that model, it is a force multiplier, but it can help you across that whole cycle, whether it is with boilerplate, debugging, deployment, but the big difference is that the human engineer remains firmly in control. You are responsible for thinking about the architecture, for reviewing the code, and for understanding every line, if not most of what AI is generating for you. And you're on the hook really for making sure that the final product is secure, scalable, and maintainable. Maybe AI is helping you with velocity, which is great, but that doesn't mean that you can, sort of shrug off your your responsibility for quality at the end of the day. And I tend to think that, a lot of people have said that they found AI encoding to be a force multiplier, but I found that the greater expertise that you have in software engineering, the better the results you can get when you're using LLMs. And I think sometimes if you're new to the industry or you're a junior, maybe there are some what we would consider to be traditional best practices that maybe you haven't had to experience them yet or think about them. Like, if you care about production quality programming, you should probably only be committing code to your repo that you can fully explain to somebody else, because just expecting that the AI is going to help you untangle whatever mess happens later on is probably not going to work out long term.
And how do you personally use these tools? May that be vibe coding and especially AI assisted engineering.
I have more recently been focusing on the idea of spec-driven development, having a very clear plan of what it is that I want to build. I think that there are definitely places where I still vibe code. If it's for a personal tool, something throwaway, or in the old days, if an engineer or a PM had an idea, maybe we would put together, a quick mock. Maybe we would put together a wireframe or a sketch or something like that. Perhaps work with UX to come up with like something a little bit more polished. These days, the fact that you can vibe code a prototype and actually show somebody in a pull request or in a chat, like, hey, here's an even more clear version of the vision that I had in mind for this. I think there's something very powerful to that. And I'm loving vibe coding for that, just being able to give me a slightly higher quality way to deliver sharing an idea.
Vibe coding is having its moment. Describe an app in a prompt, and boom, you've got something running. It feels like magic. But here's what vibe coding doesn't account for: institutional knowledge. Every prompt comes from what you tell it, not what your team already knows. Real product development is the opposite. It's accumulated context. For example, every bug has a kind of history. Every feature connects to customer requests. Every PR fits into your team's roadmap. A short prompt will not share.
Triple H asked me to grow my hair out. It was like a very light suggestion that I took way too
Oh, yes,
seriously.
yes, yes, yes.
Because he's like, would you ever consider growing your hair out? It creates movement. And I was like, yeah, I actually totally understand that. There's an art to the cell, and I'm not sure a lot of people, even me, like place that much focus on. Triple H asked me to grow my hair out. It was like a very light suggestion that I took way too seriously. Because he's like, would you ever consider growing your hair out? It creates movement. And I was like, yeah, I actually totally understand that. There's an art to the sell, and I'm not sure a lot of people, even me, like place that much focus on it.
I'm devastated. And you know why? It's because in the first half, Man City had some chances. They looked really confident. All in all, it's about moments, isn't it? Real Madrid took their moments. Man City didn't. Now they've got a huge mountain to climb. But like I said before, 3-0. It's not over. I'm devastated. And you know why? It's because in the first half, Man City.
Do you know what? I'm gonna get some snacks out for this one. Shock.
Are there any books that would make one of the biggest impacts? Modern Man's Search for a Soul, that's Jung's book. That's a very good book. The Gulag Archipelago, Notes from Underground, anything Dostoevsky wrote. Beyond Good and Evil, although that's the rough one. That's hard on people, that book.
I read Crime and Punishment because of you, and Man's Search for Meaning, which was one of the most important books I've ever read.
The effect that a book has on you depends on where you happen to be standing when you encounter the book. If the person who's writing the book knows much more than you do about something at that moment, well, then the book can be very enlightening.
Are there any books that would make one of the biggest impacts?
Modern Man's Search for a Soul, that's Jung's book. That's a very good book. The Gulag Archipelago, Notes from Underground, anything Dostoevsky wrote. Beyond Good and Evil, although that's the rough one. That's hard on people, that book.
I read Crime and Punishment because of you, and Man's Search for Meaning, which was one of the most important books I've ever read.
The effect that a book has on you depends on where you happen to be standing when you encounter the book. If the person who's writing the book knows much more than you do about something at that moment, well, then the book can be very.
I'm not thrilled with Armin right now. You know, and there's a lot of different reasons. It's not just the stuff that you see.
You run at him once and you realise he can't really defend that well. He's great attacking fullback, but you run him that way and I can run. So I just kept running at him, and then you soon realise you're getting the better of him, and you do this, you do that, and then scoring a hat-trick is, you obviously need a bit of luck with it as well, but then you kind of realise that he just said he's the best right back in the world. I've just kind of destroyed him. My confidence has gone up here. I now think, oh right, well I can do this against anybody, and then your ceiling goes a bit higher, and then your confidence goes, and you just keep growing again. And it kind of was that, like I said, it was that moment that I realised that that there was no kind of ceiling anymore. You run at him once and you realise he can't really defend that well. He's great attacking fullback, but you run him that way and I can run. So I just kept running at him, and then you soon realise you're getting the better of him, and you do this, you do that, and then scoring a hat-trick is, you obviously need a bit of luck with it as well, but then you kind of realise that he just said he's the best right back in the world. I've just kind of destroyed him. My confidence has just gone.
Is there anything that you would ever see in the field that would make you want to, you know, sort of hit like a kill switch?
I heard about a guy who lives in a random small town in England who was able to turn his OpenClaw into a marketing machine. Basically a digital employee who goes and creates TikTok videos and TikTok slideshows that gets millions of views. And he takes these millions of views and he directs it into a mobile app that generates him money every single day. What's crazy about this whole thing is he gives away all the sauce for free. And in this episode, you are going to learn how you can set up your OpenClaw so that it too is a content creation marketing machine. And I know it's going to get your creative juices flowing. Oliver doesn't do a lot of podcasts, so
I've got the results on the screen. It may not look like a lot of subscriptions, but this is $300, $400 of monthly revenue coming in without me touching anything, using the Larry marketing skill that I created for OpenClaw agents. And we can get into how that is creating content and what it is learning to massively increase MRR autonomously by itself.
Okay, cool. So what we're going to learn today is we're going to learn about OpenClaw and specific skills around marketing, growing your business, automating it. Yes, MRR is hundreds of dollars a month, but hopefully if this works, that can get into thousands, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands. Is that right?
Correct. Correct. I'm already trying it on multiple apps, so I'm not touching these apps at all. I've not created the apps. I have just published them live on the App Store, and they are generating me hundreds of dollars. It's almost $1,000 in total now from doing nothing, which I
Okay.
think is a great start.
All right, let's see how we do this.
Sure. So one, I use my OpenClaw agent, Larry, who automates all my TikTok marketing. And this is one of the main reasons why it hasn't scaled into thousands of MRR, is because I am only doing this on one TikTok currently. And then I've got one TikTok for each of my apps that I'm trying to do before I start scaling. And this one is in a very good position to start scaling. To give you the background context of how this app came about, I created that app because we moved into a house. Me and my girlfriend moved into a house, and we wanted to decorate the house. We were using ChatGPT, and I very quickly learned that she was not very good at prompting ChatGPT, and it was giving all sorts of random messages. So then I created a lockdown prompt in ChatGPT to keep the room size the same, the windows in the same places, because it was adding windows where they shouldn't, adding doors where they shouldn't. So we locked down the prompt and I turned it into an app. And I thought, now I've got to market it. So I started with that exact story, helping my girlfriend build an app and doing facial videos myself, trying to promote the app, until I then started doing slideshows. So I think this is the first slideshow that we created, and it started to get more views, more traction, but it was taking time. Like, I've worked a full-time job. I do obviously I was developing the app, developing the other apps on the side, and I didn't have time. So then I tried going to a SaaS tool that automates your marketing for you. And I love the guys that make the product. I think they're great, but unfortunately their product just didn't work very well for me. But I knew this was the type of content that I wanted to create. So you can see it got 800 views, 400. This one got 400 views. Still using the images, so you can sort of see how Larry was becoming. And then I posted this one. So I manually created this one again on Canva, and this is what got 6,000 views, and that's where it started blowing up. So I knew that the text must have been something, the hook must have been something, and this is where I learned about OpenClaw. And at this exact moment, I created my OpenClaw machine, Larry. He sat behind me, and at this moment, I installed him, and he had one task. I said, Larry, your goal is to automate my marketing. I do not want to do it. I don't like doing it. I had an app before this that I hated marketing so much. I did hook and demo videos where it's a facial reaction and then going into a demo of your app with a text hook. So I would write all my text hooks in a text file. I would then record my face doing a lot of reactions, and then I had all my demo videos, and I wrote a script to combine all of these and make all the possible combinations of the hook plus demo plus text as it could. And this would generate about 400 videos each time that I could just bulk upload using a bulk scheduler. And that was still taking me about 3 hours. But it didn't really work very well with slideshows. And I knew that for this niche, slideshows are going to work.
Yep.
So this is where Larry came in.
Quick break to invite you to something. Now, this isn't an ad. I just want to invite you to a free event because I think that you're going to get a lot out of it. I wanted to take 1 hour of time where we just talk about building businesses in the age of AI. People say SaaS is dying. I actually believe the quite opposite. I think that SaaS is just evolving. I think right now is an incredible time to be building software startups that help you craft your dream life. And for all those reasons, I said, let's just book 1 hour of time. It's going to be 11 a.m. March 12th. That's a Thursday, where we can go and lock in and just talk about building businesses in the age of AI. I'll include a link in the description in the show notes to join, and I can't wait to see you there.
And what Larry is my OpenClaw machine, and I gave him access to posting on TikTok analytics, and then he could post and look at what posts perform the best. And I gave him X, and well, I gave him X before there was all the drama with the APIs and them canceling the usage and having to use the official API. So this was early on a separate account. and then also his Brave browser. And I just said, look, go find out in my niche what creates a high converting slideshow. So then we got started. And this
By
was
the way,
what
just on that, like a lot of people think of software as a service. They're like, I need this tool, social media management tool, slideshow tool, and then I'm gonna go hire people to go or do it myself, and I'm gonna go do it. But there's this shift that's happening right now that instead of basically going to a tool to automate a function, you say to yourself, okay, if this was an AI employee, how can I spin this up? And that's what you did, right, Oliver?
Yeah. So I just thought of Larry as a AI employee, almost like a virtual assistant, hiring a virtual assistant with one job to do this one thing. And that was his sole purpose, to go research, go find out as much as he could about slideshows in my niche and figure it out himself. And he started to do a very good job. So this is the first slide he created, and instantly you can tell it looks rubbish. So this was created with the DALL-E 3 um, image model, and then it goes into a slightly better model afterwards. But because the image looked AI, it was a massive turnoff. Users didn't like it. The format was wrong. It had the black bars, and that's why it flopped. And then we started trying more hooks. You can see then he started trying facial reactions because they were trending at the time. The problem with this is humans are extremely good at recognizing what a human is, which makes us extremely good at recognizing what an AI human is. And I still don't think it's fully nailed. Gemini just released Nano Banana 2, and I've seen some very good images created on that, but I've not tried it myself to go in depth. So we kept trying, and then we finally hit our first banger of 137,000 views here, and it was the hook.
When you say we finally found a banger, you mean your boy found the banger.
My boy, yeah. So honestly, at this point, it was still me. I felt like I was still hand holding him. So
Right.
I call my open claw machine a him. It just makes it easier to ignore it. But I was still hand holding him and checking his work before I was posting it. I didn't trust him fully. So I saw this, and what I get Larry to do, he creates the content and he puts the text overlay on, he creates the images, he makes the description. But I was just checking it to make sure it all looked good, and then I was posting it. So there are two ways that you can post to TikTok. It is fully through the API and post that TikTok live straight away. Or the way I do it with Larry, and the way I fully recommend, is posting it as a draft and then posting it from your mobile yourself. And the reason to do this is TikTok knows if it's posted through an API, and it just assumes, like you would, that it's posted by a bot and it's just botted content, especially in the age of AI, and it gives it a very little chance to do well. If you post it from your phone, it assumes a human's posting it. But the most important thing is, by posting it as a draft, you can add sound, which we all know is a huge boost to the algorithm on TikTok, and it allows you to add sound to your slideshow. So every single slideshow, I pick the sound. The description's already created from Larry, so I just get a notification to my phone saying your post is ready from TikTok. Larry also texts me that he's just posted it, and then I just add a sound and press post. So I'm doing that each time. But at this point, I was still flicking through the slides myself, making sure they're okay. But this one did very well, 137,000 views. So then we knew that this is the format. This kind of look, we picked an image model that changed. We picked an image model that matched what we were showing in our app, and then we went back to our previous winner, the difference between $500 and $5,000 taste. So remember, he has access to all of my TikTok analytics. So he went back and he found this video here with 6,000 views, and he was like, right, now we found the winning image formula. Let's go back to the previous winning hook.
Sorry, I have a question. Like when you say he's gone and found this or something has happened, is he texting you? Is he using, Telegram? Do you have mission control? Like how do you how are you communicating with him?
So I don't really believe in the mission control stuff or multi-agent. I just have Larry as the one agent that I text through WhatsApp, and we just message like you would an employee. So nothing fancy. Larry, what are you generating today? Take a look back through the previous winners. This was back then. It's all automated in the Larry skill now that he will every now and then go look at your TikTok analytics and find out what the winners were. But this was the stage of building it and building the system, finding out what worked. So it was still very much me saying, "Hey, go look at the TikTok analytics."
Some people say, the one of the first things you should do when you're installing your OpenClaw is to create a mission control. Vibe code a mission control, vibe code like a Kanban board so you can kind of see how your AI employee is, moving and progressing through your project. But you don't think that's the case?
No, I don't think that's the case. I think if that was necessary, it would have been built into OpenClaw by default. I think the way OpenClaw works and the way the creator intends is to just have one agent and spin up sub agents when you want to keep using your main agent. So if I know there's going to be a task that's going to take Larry a while, such as creating an app, I'll tell him to explain it to a sub agent. So then I can keep using him for other tasks, such as talking to maybe even building another product, talking to about my app analytics, how we can improve the onboarding, and brainstorming. So I really use Larry to brainstorm, and then he creates sub agents to do most of the tasks.
Cool.
By doing that, Larry has all the context that he can then pass to the sub agent as well. So he'll have the context of all the brainstorming, and he can feed that to the sub agent. So we get another miss. The difference between $500 and $5,000 taste. This hits 3,000. But then this is where I start to get really excited. And in 3 videos, we get another banger of 170,000 views. And it was, I showed my mum what AI thinks our living room could be. And this is where the next section of Larry comes in, because we had 300,000 views within a day or 2 days, I believe it was. But the conversions to the app were just not there. And this is the next stage of Larry's growth, is we are now knowing how to generate views, but we are not getting high conversions to our app. We're not getting downloads. We're not getting paying users, which is obviously the key point of all this. So we had to look into what was wrong. I sent Larry, go find out what's wrong. And it was our CTA. So our call to action slide is our last slide. And on this one, you can instantly find out why no one's downloaded this app. She's redecorating now snugly. It doesn't say anything. I obviously didn't check this one, or I thought it might work. So no one downloaded the app. No one bought. So that is when I thought, right.
To be clear, the app is called Snuggly, right?
That app is called, see, even you had to ask the question. So it's a very bad CTA. The app is called Snuggly, and that's actually what we put in now, or we feed that in directly to users so they know it's an app and what it does.
It's really funny, though. It's actually hilarious because it's like, she's redecorating now, and then it's just Snuggly. It's like your poor mom, she's redecorating and Snuggly, That's where we're at. That's where mom's at today.
It's the most AI slide you've ever seen, and you can imagine why. You can see why it didn't convert at all. So then we realized,
This guy,
okay, if we're getting
the
low
most AI
views,
slop I could ever see.
the CTA is bad. If we're getting low views, the hook is bad. If we're getting low views and low conversions to the app, the CTA is bad. But it is possible to have low views and a high percentage of them download the app that day. So then we know the CTA is probably good, but the hook was bad. And now Larry is starting to use all of this information to learn. But then there's a whole new challenge of when users are on the app, they're not paying. So we'll get onto that. But then that is the last section of Larry and the Larry skill. What I want to say is the Larry skill, you shouldn't think of it as just TikTok automation or content creation. you don't have to do slides. You can plug and play whatever content you want. So you can use video generation and plug that in. The Larry funnel is really the full loop of having your it's the Larry loop basically of having your TikTok analytics, the content creation, feed the analytics back into the content creation until you get a winner, and then also your end goal. So mine is obviously app downloads. So I feed my app metrics back into the top of the funnel so he can iterate on that. But you can be selling a product, you can be getting traction to your website, and it's all just the metrics that you're feeding back into the top of the funnel so your agent can understand, okay, we're getting people to the website, but they're not going to where we want, or we're getting people to the website and they're not paying. And you can do this in as many ways as you want. The funnel is the Larry loop is more the iteration rather than it is the just the content creation. It's a fuller picture. So then we have quite a good week here, all over 10K, some getting 150K. This one got 400,000 and taught us another lesson that the images don't have to be perfect. So this is the exact moment I just let Larry crack on himself, because I remember this well. He posted this and it was late at night. I was literally just getting into bed and he said, the post is ready.
So while we were chilling here, we just learned that you can just set your OpenClaw up and use create Larry as your agent and just start generating revenue. We just learned about this. I realized we need to start with the OpenClaw um, pretty soon. But yeah, I mean, what do we need to do? We need to pretty much figure out how long would you take to. Can we start downloading right now? Can we start downloading right now? Let's start downloading right now. I'm going to be giving you the recording, and I want to just have that happen. This has been going for 20 minutes, but we've been going on for a very long time. Mm, Hold on a minute. Now, what are the limitations of the free plan of Restream.io? Is there a limitation to how long you can have one particular stream running?
But if you're building anything serious, you've got to stop vibe coding and start being.
Dude, Restream just has this highlight section where they just clip on viral things. You see, they produce captions like this. So I want it to be like this particularly um, for the app that we are building. I want it to be like this particularly, and the captions it must be in the middle, and but only when I say clip this. Now these guys are doing it at random moments, right? These guys are um, clipping random moments what they think are important, but I want you to be clipping moments that I think are important, right? So only when I say clip this, you will be doing this. For example, I'm saying clip this right now. By the way, clip this. How do I turn this off? Pause preview, retitle.